看到，在
you
我
can
身后
see
呢，
the
有
sand
很多
dunes.
的滑雪爱
And
好者，目
there
前呢
are
正
so
在这
many
个
of them
沙漠雪
trying
场
to
上
skating
尽情的体验
desert
沙丘滑雪的这
skating
样的感觉。
and
那么为了让大
unforgettable
家能够
experiences where you
更
can
加清楚
glide
的
down
了
the
解到这边的
snow-colored
沙漠
sand
雪场的一个
dunes.
基本情况，
In
以及
order
当
to
地的
better
这个冰
promote
雪
the
旅
local
游的发
skiing
展情况，
economies,
今天呢，我也是
now
邀
I'm
请到了
inviting one of the
国务县
distinguished
卫生
guests
部
who
的
is
秘书长
joining
黄
us,
丽娟女士，
Mr.
请她和我一起
Madam
给
Huang
各位
Lijuan,
网友
the
共同
anchor
介
from
绍
the
一下这
local
边的情况。
county.
黄老师，来跟
So
各位网友打声招呼。
Dear viewers, I am Huang Lijuan from the Bohu County, the Multimedia Center. The first question I want to ask you is that do you know how to ski? Yes, definitely. I've been at the very beginning of the skating centers. I actually started to learn skating. Now I'm actually learning at a medium court, and after almost 1 month, I actually come here and practice at every single weekend. And I have introduced you the unique experiences from the skating sense, from the constructions to the investment. What is the latest progresses? Could you please introduce us? Actually, for the total locations of the sand dunes, it is 9,800 square kilometers. We have a full skating court, 2 primary skating sessions and 2 secondary skating sessions, and the total length is 365 kilometers, and the ultimate skating court is 1,324 lines, and we can also see a lot of lovers and couples come here for skating, and this is also the reason for us to use this number to build this new skating court. Actually, in China, we have to talk about the gold numbers indicating the gold omens. This is why we have so many couples coming here. Actually, in the past few days, in the Baizhou city, it is located in the southern part of China. There's not too much snowing in the winter. It is actually the man-made snows. Actually, Xinjiang is occupying a vast land of areas. In the southern part of Xinjiang, throughout 1 year, there is only 1 snow, and the snow cannot be covering the demand. Actually, locally speaking, we are thinking about the human-made snow field, and this is also very related to our local lakes and also the sands and also the desert, and this is actually a desert, but in the summer it is the sandy. And you can actually gliding through on the sand in the summer while gliding through the snow in the winter. So that was a very unique experiences for the tourists across the different regions. Actually, if we look down on the sand dunes, we are back the Alashumla mountain, and the snow court we are occupying is very pristine. And this in front of you, that is the pure blue lake surfaces. So when did we start to build this snowfield, including the infrastructure constructions, the covers of the snows, and when did every single snow season comes? In the beginning of December, we started to build it, and we cannot. There is a very huge demand from the local southern Xinjiang Autonomous Region's people. And while we are building it on the daytime, and we have been building this snowfield 24/7, and within 1 month we have fulfilled this snow court. And generally speaking, there is 1,500 sets of the snow and skating units for preparing for the tourist, and the total area it covers is 1,000 kilometers. Actually, our cameraman can follow it, and you can also see that following this court, the yellow machines are the snow creators. So because of the snow creating machines, we can create the snows continuously in order to cover the snows on the pure surface of the sands. And through a very good maintenance, we can have this a very rare snow sands. I also want to bring you that here. at noontime. It is the most people, and today it is the weekend. And to both sides of the signs, there are people standing here. And currently, there are two magic banquet, which is actually having the skiers to be gliding back. And we can also see some of the people falling down. Generally speaking, I would say that in the past 2 days, there is a lot of beginners. Is it because that we have just started these experiences, and the uniqueness of this experience has drawn the tourists from all over the country? Although we have covered the snowfield with the signs and snows, we can also feel that there's a lot of vitalities here. This is a winter wonderland high up in the mountains. And for the kids to come here, it is very easy for them to learn. They are the beginners, and there's also a lot of kids learning from here. And for them, it is very easy to catch up. So that is to say, at the top of it, a lot of people, we have a lot of coaches has been wearing it, and we also have some of the security guys. And this is actually the double board skiing. What did you learn? The single board skiing. Actually, I learned the double board skiing because I have just started to do it for 1 month. That's the reason why every single day, every single weekend, I brought my family to here to learn the double skiing. And we can also see on the side, there is in the mediums court, there is a lot of single board skiing, and in the primary court, there's a lot of double board skiing. Actually, in the northern part of China, I can see a lot of young people who feel that this is actually very fantastic, and they also change their blades and learn the different actions. Sometimes they even bought their cameras to shoot it. Actually, in our skiing, do we have any specific equipment? Or the beginners, actually, our trainers actually helps, not only helping our tourists, but also help them to record these wonderful moments. And just as you have mentioned, a lot of tourists actually falling down. We have a lot of protective equipment. And we can also see it in front of our cameras. We got this protective unit. So could you introduce us? This is one of the protective units for our knees, and this is also one of the protective units for our waist. In order to avoid any falling downs, this is actually protecting the different part of the body. One, it is very cute. And a lot of ski lovers, they know how to ski, but they still actually wear this kind of protective toys. And I think that for the beginners, it has a very good protective result. So under what kind of conditions can you get rid of this? I feel that if you can gliding down through the primary court, you can actually protect it. So this is actually, you carry it at the back of your button. So once you have been falling down, you're just sitting down on it. And the surface of this turtle is going to carry you back in order to avoid the pains. And if we are using this protective sets, are there any differences between the single board and the double board? No, there's not too much differences. And even for the single board, some of them are even wearing this kind of protective toys. And I would also see a lot of safety warnings for the skiers. And to my right, this is actually the protective safe nets, where we have reminded that do not spend a quite long time in the buffer region. Another side is that if our cameraman can give you some of the insights, and we have also made a lot of protective sets and buffering areas, just because we have mentioned that there is a lot of beginners. So while they are gliding down, sometimes they cannot be suspended, and sometimes they are going to be rushing to the protective safety nets, and this is also going to give them a lot of buffer zones. So in order to protect these units, we have been thinking about it. And also the security guides we have been talked about. And we can also see here that in these security and safety guiding areas, we have these buffer areas. And we can also, for example, they are wearing some of the protective units, and if they can get rid of it, cannot get rid of them, our security guide is helping them to be undressed. For one snowfield, you need to give them a very good experience. On the other side, you also need to give them a very good security or safety experiences. Actually, since its opening days, every day the snowfield has been receiving for around 60,000 people. Today it is the weekend. According to our statistics, the general number is actually reaching 1,000 and 11,000. And if in the afternoon there's going to be more and more people, and locally speaking, it is still the morning times. We have not reaching our peak yet. So I have one of the curiosities. Are there any some of the tourists not from the locally? Yes, because the high speedway recently got connected. So we are seeing a lot of CNA, and also there are some of the other different number plates. And the snow seasons for the Beijing is also very enriching experiences. For these kind of experiences where we can see the signs, and also for the skiing field, it is also a very good experiences. So here I want to share with you one details. We are standing here at a snowboard and a snowfield. And we have also mentioned that this is human-made snows. And the experiences for standing here is quite different. I like to grab some of the human-made snows to show you. So our cameraman, please help me to zoom in. This is one grab of the human-made snows. We can also see there is not too much differences between the human-made snows and the natural snows, but actually, from the touches of my hand, human-made snows are harder and tougher, and it's very difficult to smelt. Even if I'm actually holding it at my hand, they didn't smell down. For the human-made snow, it is also very important for us to stabilize the snowfield. No matter where you are, in the southern snowfield or in the northern snowfield, it is using the human-made stones to creating these basis areas, but contradictory to the northern part of Xinjiang because of the snowings. And we should be relying on the human-made snows. And in the northern court, and I still remember there are some of the natural snows, and where we do the maintenance every single day. That is to say, because I didn't know how to snow, but actually, I'm not sure. In this, what is going to be the experiences to gliding through this kind of human-made snows as well? What is the differences between the human-made snows and the natural snows? I am actually also in the beginners. My feeling is that for the double board skating, if it's harder in the snowfield, it is going to guarantee you safety. If the snow is very soft, the surface of the snowfield is very soft. It's not easier to gliding through. That's the reason why at every night we cover the snows in order to be paving it down, guaranteeing the absolute security of the tourist. In order to making sure that the tourists can have a better understanding, generally speaking, in terms of the maintenance, and we like to place some of the. It's not that we pave the human-made snows, and during our interviews, we understand that if we didn't pave it, once the snow has been gliding down, there are some of the snow areas which is going to creating more and more difficulties. As you have noticed that there are some of the regular maintenance. Usually it's at night. So at every single evening we are going to be working on it. And it's also quite hard work since the creations of the snows. Sometimes we begin to do the maintenance work. That is to say, it is one of the tourist destinations, and it's also to further extent. It is like a star dream creators, which is very convenient for the people in the southern part of Xinjiang to enjoy the skating. This is also one of our proud. Do we recruited or hired the coaches locally speaking, or do we recruited some of the coaches from the other regions? Some of them has been invited from the northeast part of China. So actually, while I was snowing, I've been taught by the professional coaches. I was also a very important beginners. So actually, if you want to recommend the netizens to experience on the snowfield, apart from the initial experiences, for those of them who cannot have experience on it, are there any different playing? For those of you who cannot snowing, you can actually riding on one of the gliding court. For the gliding court, there are some of this kind of it is have steeping processes. So once your body has been totally get used to this kind of weight lossing scenarios, from your mental status or to your physical bodies, you are going to be getting used to it. I don't know how to snow. Every single time when I want to go to a skating yard, generally speaking, I usually to choose to playing in this playground. Sometimes definitely, it is also very exciting. It was also very exciting, and you need to have the boldness in order to gliding down. Sometimes I'm sitting on top of that, and sometimes I'm actually putting my legs up in order to avoid any gliding. So every weekend, while you brought your kids to here, have you experiencing it? Actually, my kids come to this skating court every single weekend. From this side, we are not having a very long distance. So I actually brought my kids to skating in order to let them get rid of it. I think for the kids, they are easy learners, and since the very beginning, and my kids has already started to learn from the medium court. I would say that this is also somebody gliding down. And while we are planning on this gliding court, did we do some of the testing and maintenance in order to making sure that everything is quite safe? Yes, definitely in terms of its gliding it. We need to have some of the unique designs. Compared with the normal gliding court, it is difficult to manufacture it. Just as Mr. Guo has mentioned, my feet is not going to touch the snows on the surface, and it needs the professional designs to. And on the site, we could see a lot of kids. So he is holding his skating board to be gliding down because a lot of kids is experiencing it. Do we have some of these kind of researching and learning groups? This is also what I want to say, that when my kids at this weekend, he actually being invited to this tourist group, and she was invited to the local student to come here. And if the kids comes to this gliding and skating court, and if he or she was discussing, so it is free of charge for the kids to be skating here. The kids just need to rent this kind of units. So it's about the winter vacation. And what does the parents should do with their kids? Actually sitting at home, the kids play the mobile phones. It's not very helpful for the kids. And if we have this kind of activities, we also talk about skating is a very good experience. Actually, for this weekend, locally speaking, in Bohu, this is a very good tourist destination. And you have just mentioned that for the Bohu County, we considered where the kids goes to in the winter, and how can we satisfy their demand while going abroad. Learning and outdoor activity used to be a very good choice. Here, I also want to experience and introduce you a very unique unit. And there's a lot of people working in the ski snow court. So why? Because through these cameras, it is close to the Lake of Boston Lake. And here we have this kind of beautiful scenarios where the ice blocks has been piling up on each other pieces of the ice. And sometimes at every beginning of the spring and under the great wind and water reactions, and it is actually melting down in the daytime and cooling down during the nighttime. This is generating a very unique scenarios. The Bing tree is nothing like the Bing tree in the other different regions, because the color unique to be very pure, especially at the noontime when the sun shines on the moons. It's easier for us to get some of the slidings. I actually brings a lot of couples while they are getting married, and they took a lot of marriage photos against the background of the lake. We can also see a lot of the ground phenomena of this Bing tree, the ice piles. I have met it before, actually, compared with the winter ones and the spring ones. I can also see that the winter's ice block is more transparent, but during the springtime, there are some of the grassroots. Actually, just as Madam Huang mentioned, for it is free phenomena to review. Second, against the different shapes and with the different reflections of the colors, it is very easy. And while we are interviewing, and she told me that they were planning to get some of these images. So this is, I think it's a very good experiences. So for these ice pile phenomena, we can attract the tourists to. So I would say that all of you like these natural beauties. We built this snow court here. If you are too tired, you might be coming to these unique experiences. So are there any times where you can enjoy more ice piles? Actually, there is more tourists coming in the afternoon, and because actually for those of the tourists come to the snowfield, they have also been centralized in the nose, and sometimes they actually wear their own snowfield skating units, and they take some of the photos against the ice. So this is also a very unique experience. We can actually ice sliding it, and we can also take some of the photos. And I also know that for these original phenomena, we love them more. We simply love them more. So why does we take the nose and take the afternoon? Because there are some of the time lag between Xinjiang and Innerland. Sometimes in the weekend, especially everybody wants to sleep, and once they get covered, I think that all the viewers and tourists, they are quite curious. We have this vast Boston Lake lying in front of us, and the winter times, apart from this snowfield, there are so many ice activities. What kind of activities did we build on the Boston Lake? Actually, in the great, we have the ice gliding, ice car clashes, the ice motorbikes, and ice tanks. And there are over 40 different types of the ice-related activities. Actually, in the last week, we have just fulfilled the sailing ships in the ice. And this is actually the first time we have competing on the ices. So how thick should the iceberg be before we started this kind of activity? Over 30 centimeters. At least 30 centimeters. Do we have professional institutions evaluating the safety and securities? Definitely, safety and security comes first. So for the thickness of the icebergs, we actually test it every single day. We updated the data, and we actually need to guarantee the safety and security of every single one of you. And for these activities, what kinds of activities do we do during this winter? It's starting from the winter solstice to March this year. At the day of the winter solstice, we officially kicks off the 18th Snow and Iceberg festivals, and tomorrow we are going to have the 18th frozen lake activity. This is also a very unique tourist experience. And a few days ago, we have the under ice fish catching. This is actually one of the fish catching experiences up until today. This has become one of the brands where we have extended these experiences to a very unique local festival. So during the interview, we know that it's not only relying on the training resources. We are building a sports plus, snow plus the tourism destinations. In the recent few years, while we are building these kind of destinations, do we promote the whole experience tourist? Yes, in Bohu, we have the flower watching in the spring times. And especially during the summer times, just you has mentioned, it's the snow plus spots. And in the Grand Bohe regions, we have also had the summer sand valleys. And so you are going to have experiences on the site with this kind of state level sailing competitions, state level water-based spots, and there's so many spots during the summertime, and in the autumn and in the spring, although it's a very short period in the Xinjiang Autonomous Region, limited by the weather conditions, we are holding some of these horse racing competition. A lot of tourists, they are traveling from inland to Xinjiang Autonomous Region, from other provinces to Xinjiang Autonomous Region, to covers the 1,600 acres of land. And in the winter time, it's beginning to form a large ice surfaces that tourists always find where they love most. Over 40 different categories of the activities. This enriches them a lot. Finally, relying on their winter experiences. Dear viewers, if you want to come to the Boston Lake, what is your most recommended destination? There are so many to recommend. First one is that this kind of a snowfield. If you are coming here, you are definitely going to travel through the Boston Lake highway. It's not about the driving, but it's also about circling. I would also like you to interview, and also once you have come here, there is also a lot of snow field. So I know that it is very cheap snow field, and we are recommending to let the users, to let the tourists to spend less but get more fun. And the second recommendation is the Grand Lake Gate tourist destination. So there is only a 15 minutes driving to that area. And the third recommendation is that we can experience a lot of local tourist cultures. That was a lot of takeaways. And finally, I also want to recommend the Lianhai Shijie, the sea connecting world theme park. You can also have an under ice fishing activity. Thank you so much, Ms. Huang, for your kind recommendations. And I have toured you around the Xinjiang Autonomous Region's Bajou skiing, and I also let you to know the beautiful environment in this sand skating court. And in the live streaming, we have just mentioned that during the summertime, it is also going to be a sand field where you can gliding through the sand. If you have the time, do travel to the Boston Lake, relying on the local natural resources and natural beauties. In the summer times, with all of these water resources, and in the winter times, we are relying on the lake and also the ice and snow experiences to build these multiple on-ice activities. And this is also how we are combining the tourist destinations while making the cold resources a hot flavor to the local economy. And making sure that this is also a very good job creators and we welcome you to travel to the Bajou of Xinjiang for every single day across the seasons throughout the year. Bajou, Bohu County. That wraps up our live streaming with China Media Group. Thank you so much for joining us.
好，各位央视新闻的网友们，大家好！大家欣赏完。好了吗？好，各位央视新闻的网友们，大家好！在欣赏完新疆的大美雪景之后，欢迎大家来到南方，体验南方雪景的独特感受。那我现在是在安徽岳西县大别山高山滑雪场，然后呢，这个滑雪场也是安徽首家高滑雪场。那这个滑雪场自开办以来呢，吸引了全国各地的游客络绎不绝的来这里打卡，然后体验高山冰雪滑雪运动的乐趣。然后大家可以看到啊，我身后已经有很多雪友已经开始滑雪了。
Dear viewers with China Media Group, I'd like to invite you to come to the snow court in the southern part of China. And here I want to bring you to these unique experiences, to the local guide, which is the journalist Zhu Shenshen from Yuexi. So, Mr. Zhang, hello everybody. I am dear viewers with China Media Group. Good afternoon. I am the moderator, Zhu Shenshen. I'm really honored to be with Mr. Zhang to bring you to the southern skating court. So, are you from the local county? Yes. Could you show us what is your impression of Yuexi County? Actually, thank you. Yuexi is a mountainous region with a very higher altitude. When I was a kid in the winter time, there is a pile of the snows. We have a very deep impression of the snows. And when we were kids, we were playing with the snows, fighting against with the snows, and sometimes we are gliding down the snows. These are the beautiful memories of my childhood. But actually, up to now, starting from the 6 years, we have been built this snow field, and our passions of the snows has been unleashed. And we can never imagine that such a snow field is brought a lot of dynamism to the local economies. There are so many changes that I have never imagined. In the year 2016, we have been built this snow court, and I have a lot of experiences, and these are very thrilling experiences. To be frankly, for over 10 years, I had never had the experiences to be gliding down. And every time my action is that I have always been falling down on the snow field. We have come here, and I want to ask you, are there any guarantees for this gliding dance? Actually, yes, today, in order to make sure that you get a better understanding of the southern snowfield, all the differences, and what do we do to attract more and more people to experiences. We have brought a very important guest group who is joining us today, and I'd like to introduce you the local owners and the local managers. Hello. Dear viewers and netizens from China Media Group, I am the General Manager of Dabieshan International Snowfield. Very welcome to you. I would also to say that to the southern part of this snowfield, although it is not as magnificent as the Xinjiang snowfield, it is still quite a pleasure for the locals. And I will also say that all the skiers, they have the same passions. Actually, as an outdoor activity, although we cannot be compared with the northern part of China, we have our unique beauties. And all of the snows we are here are the natural snows. But actually, for the southern part of China, it is more like the human-made snows. And you can also grab this kind of a human-made snows. The quality was very of a higher moisture, and there you can also feel the particles at your hand. And also, if you come to the snowfield in the northern part of China, it's just like the pounders. And for us, in the daytime, the snow is like at 16 degrees centigrade with the glitters of the sun at the holes of your hands. It's also very moisturized. It's very easy to fight using these snows. I think this is the major differences between the northern part of China and the southern part of China. To another part of it. So while for the skiing, this is also very beneficial. Why does it? So while we are gliding down, we don't need to do so many winter protective units. You can also dress freely, and sometimes you don't need to dress a lot. And this is also very helpful with you sports and activities. This is also very good. And I also want to talk about what is going to be the measures that you are going to be taken. Actually, we have a higher snow creating equipment with the better results, and sometimes it costs more energies. The reason because of it is that for the southern part of China, we only rain for 60 to 70 days every year. Actually, at the medium terms of December and at the medium term of February, this is our higher temperature. And we have continued and postponed it for over 20 days. Actually, in the New Year's, we have held it for over 15 days. But for the snow date, facing the external environment, we have been affected greatly. From the temperature, we are trying to figure out the best snow coat. And today, we have just opened through 3 lines. And for the short line, it is our practice units. And for the designing of it, it is more prone to the beginners. And we are also going to bring a lot of families and also brings a lot of kids. We don't need to let the kids wear a lot of protective units. This is also very suited. And for the beginners court, and also from some of the learners court, they can also get to the medium court. Actually, we didn't open up the higher court. And so during the January the 20th, based on the high temperatures, we are going to fine-tune the snows. And once we have opened up the board, we are going to change the openness of the court snowfield and also the snowfield to the south of China. Are there any differences? What is going to be the frequencies? Actually, for the northern part of China, you can create the snows every single day. But for the southern part of China, sometimes you even need to be reaching the -4 or -3 degrees centigrade. But for us, for our snow coat, once we have just begun, sometimes the altitude can go to 1,010. And for every single year, compared with our Yuexi prefectures, the snowfield is even -3 or -5 degrees centigrade lower than the other local regions. Today, we are monitoring the local atmospheres, and for every time, we are trying to make up with the losses of the snows. And I actually watched these areas. So, to the thickest of it, it reaches for around 50 centimeters. So I can also see that for today, we have so many skiers come here to enjoy the beautiful sights. I have also want to ask you about one question. Since this snow court has been running starting from the year 2016, and for these kind of 1,000 people or 1,000 Chinese, you didn't get in touch with snowing for a quite long time. We also have this kind of professional development, and I think that this is also a very beginner. So, Mr. Wu, could you please introduce us? How could we better gliding on top of it and come to this professional court and to enjoy the fines of these skatings? Actually, for the beginners, once you have arrived on the snowfield, we suggest you to choose the double board skatings. But for the double board skating, sometimes it's easier, but for the single board skating, it's actually relatively difficult to control. Today, I am inviting one of our professional coaches. Hello. So we want to know that as a beginner, so what kind of a board should they choose? What kind of element should they consider? They should think about their own skills, and they should also, I would say that they should also think about their own heights. And on the snowing, it is about the heights minus 40 to 15 millimeters. And you should also put the handles on the surface of the course. And generally for the beginners, this is a softer shoes compared with the professional shoes. They don't have a unique button. Sometimes the weight is around 50 to 60 pounds, while the professional shoes goes to 100 to 120 pounds. These are why the beginners want to change and choose. So what is the width or the hardness of this snowboard? So what kind of phenomena should we choose? And according to the general different scenarios, different technologies, different heights, the length of it were quite different. And if we want to go through and gliding it works very quickly with a very large turnover, and for the beginners, our suggestion is that it should go below 3 pounds to 5 pounds. And for the professional economy, it is around 6 pounds. And for the fixer, it's also the same. The better the technology is, the higher the pound is, generally speaking. So while we are choosing these units, so if it's double skating board, so we need to understand this skating board first. Generally speaking, this is the head part, the tail part, the fixers at the beginning and fixer at the end. So for the front fixer, the major reason for us is to, if we are falling down, the board can be getting rid of it. And it's not very easy for them to be falling on top of this board. And also for the end fixes. So while we are playing on it, let's talk about the front part and the later part. And for the front part, we need to gliding through it. And then we have put our shoes on at its hand, and with a click of the buckle, we are being tightened down. And now I'm like to talk about how could we falling down safely with no injuries. Sometimes we are holding our protective bonnets. So if I'm actually about to be falling down, you need to throwing away the protective units. And sometimes they are not be in happy. Actually, the skidding pole is used to be speeding up instead of protecting you, no matter what is going to be the time. And we also need to be protecting our ankles, our knees, and our hip part. Making sure that we are standing properly. So for one foot, we are facing the lines. For the other, we are gliding down. We are going to be making sure that for one foot we are moving forward. For the other foot, we are actually catching it up. So gradually we are opening the heads of this skating board. This is where we are going to be break. So this is also going to pile the snow down in order to stop our body and creating more fractions between our body and the snow. Thank you so much. I got to know a lot of actions. Since then, I think the most important part is to practice with so many learners from the teachers, and I don't even know how to skating, but actually you should come here, come to the snow court and have on-site experiences. So this is also going to be the pleasures of the skating. I have just mentioned that this is the most beautiful memories when you were a kid. And today, with this snowing court, we have a group of kids who are coming here to enjoy the snows. We have introduced you that this is actually a long glider. We can also enjoy it. But today I'm also going to give you an introduction of a group of the kids and the children. So they are coming here to experiencing the snow plus education in order to make sure that the kids, even if they are at the mountainous regions, they can feel the pleasures of the snows. I can see them coming one after another. For every single weekend, they come to this snowfield. Hello, please say hello to the viewers from China Media Group. So how about our slogans? I skate, I do the sports, I'm happy, and I'm healthy. So this is also a very healthy activity. Dear viewers with China Media Group, could you take a look into what the kids has been learning in this snowfield? I have just introduced you that the snow plus education is one of the major reasons for us for the literacy education. I'd like to introduce you the Mr. Wang Liming, the Vice Dean of the local school. Mr. Wang, could you please introduce us? Yes, please. So, for the local students from the Chuying Primary School, on what purpose that we deciding to let them learn the snowing? So actually, we believe it is the right time, right place, and the right students. In order to deal with the national course to let 13 million people to be skating on the snowfield, at the same time promoting the snow-related activities to go to the schools. At that time, it was the 2022 Winter Olympics. So we decided to let the kids in the mountainous regions to experience about the snowing. And actually, in the place of Shiguan, it has a very unique local conditions where it is one of the major areas connecting to the Dabieshan mountain. And generally speaking, its altitude is around 800 kilometers. So for every single winter, the snow was covering every single corners of the land. And to the southern part of China, the snow is a very rare thing. I would like to say that they like the snows. They are very excited to see the snows. I also want to say that for the kids, the most beautiful memories is that during the winter time, and the snow is going to be getting higher, so we can also feel playing in the snow together with your playmates, and getting some of the plastics and also some of the thick boards, and putting it under your bottoms, and also jumping down, and you can also feel the snows and I would like to say that this is a very important cause, and all the snows are actually falling behind you. And during the mountainous regions, no matter for playing with the snows, these are something imprinted in the children's DNAs. And for the Dabieshan snowfield playground, it has been constructed with only 2,000 meters, and we guarantee the field, the coaches, and they are also being enabled to working on these original areas. For us to build this kind of a special playing field for the kids, it is related to through it we can exercise, and we need to exercise their bodies, and making sure their minds they have the physical and mental health. Under these conditions, we have organized the first team of the Anhui provinces as a professional skiers. So for this team, what is going to be the status course? And actually for our court, it was being built at the winter of the year 2011. And at that time, when the Winter Olympics, we have just started from 8 to 9 people, and gradually there are some of the ins and some of the outs. Some of the kids has been falling down, and they are quite afraid that they are using and adopting the new power and strengths to be injected in it. That is to say, the whole team has been enlarged. And for the aging groups, starting from the first grade of the primary schools to the 9th grade of the primary schools, and we also having a lot of so for our team, for every single year, we have the fully designed training plans, and we also have the coaches. So I would like to say that for them, within 3 to 4 years, they can reach to the professional levels with a very good skating skills. For example, they learned how to turn down with the parallel turning downs and also angle-based turning downs, and also the basic movements in the snowfield.